is a dosha? Welcome back to the second of the Introduction to Ayurveda series. Now, most people, when they think of Ayurveda, the first thing that comes to their mind is dosha. What's my dosha? Dosha is your mind and body type. It's also called your constitution. The Vata dosha is air and space, Pitta dosha is fire and water, and Kapha dosha is earth and water. The goal of Ayurveda is not perfection, it's balance. So, one of the nice things about Ayurveda is that it will never make you go and eat a bunch of supplements so you can look like such or you can be like that. It always looks at who you are and then meets you where you are, bringing food and lifestyle and diet and all the things, movement, breathing, yoga, meditation. So, when you go to an Ayurvedic practitioner, the first thing they determine is what is your dosha, your prakriti. Prakriti in Sanskrit means your nature. And the second is your vikriti, which means all the imbalances that you're experiencing due to external factors and things that are going on that are unbalanced in your own body. We have all five elements present in our bodies at all times. But what we're looking for is which are the dominant factors in your body that makes you behave a certain way, think a certain way, feel a certain way. There is a framework that goes along with your constitution. So when these five elements are combined into certain groups, they're called Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So let's look at Vata dosha first. Vata dosha is basically your air and space elements. Now I know this is a little stereotypical, though I'm going to describe this, but it's a way of understanding what elements are at play. So if you have a friend who talks a lot, who's very, very thin, who's either very tall or very short, they have thin bones. They go to the gym and they work out, but they gain no muscles. They are talkative. They can talk so much that they can drain your energy. In a balanced place, these people are spontaneous, they're intuitive, they can come up with ideas, they can be the life of a party, they can crack jokes, and they're just spontaneous. In an imbalanced place, they experience anxiety, they have insomnia, they become fearful, they don't know how to plan things, they don't know how to manage things because they're kind of on the spur of the moment kind of people. And they make great sales and marketing people. Basically, they can be light on their feet and they can be all over the place at one time. They can talk a lot and confuse the other person too because they talk so much. That's Vata dosha. Let's go to the Pitta dosha. Pitta dosha is fire and water coming together. So most people would say, well, fire and water, how does that come together? Doesn't water put fire out? Yes, it does. But in this context, how we're looking at it is your blood system. Your blood system is liquid and it's hot. Your plasma, when you're urinating, the temperature is warm, right? Even menstruation, that is heat. And it's a release every single month for the body to cleanse itself out. It has to do with the lymphatic system. So, this is how we can describe the Pitta dosha. Personality wise, these people are very goal oriented. They like to set goals and go for it. They have motivation, willpower, they're high achievers, they like to look good, they like to be respected, they like to be acknowledged for things because that's part of them being part of a community. They feel like they want to be part of something bigger. It's not like they want to take ideas and create their own. No, they take systems and they can make it so much better. So if you look at an organization, you will find Pitta people are usually the ones who are the upper management or executive management of some sort. They're driving the companies. They're making sure that the numbers meet. They're making sure that the bottom line is there. They're making sure that the people behave the way they're supposed to be. So, in an imbalanced place, they get irritated, they're frustrated, they want everything in order. And if you're an artist, it doesn't quite work for you. An artist is usually the Vata person because they're all over the place and they like to create things out of the spontaneous moment that they are in. So, an artist, they get inspired and then they create something. A dancer, so a painter, a photographer. Photographers are a combination usually of pittas and vata because pittas aesthetically they want it to look right and it all depends on who their personality is. Artists are usually people who can tap into the right brain and just go and flow. And the pittas are more left brain. They want a structure. They want to have organization. It has to be done a certain way. They're very timely. They're very disciplined. They will follow the rules and make you follow the rules too. There's a running joke. If you get two pittas together, it's usually pots and pans flying at each other because there's a lot of heat there and there's a lot of passion also. So that's your pitta dosha. Now we come to the kapha dosha. Kapha dosha is basically a combination of earth and water. So how does that come together? Earth and water. Think about the winter weather. And there's sluggishness. It's raining. There's mudslides. There's heaviness. There's denseness. There's fog. This is how we look at the kapha dosha. Kapha people are the nurturers, they're the caretakers, they're usually bigger boned and they have more muscle mass and they go to the gym and they try to lose weight. Usually they can't lose weight very easily because their bodies are made to hold things. So in a emotional state, they also hold grudges and they can't let go of things when something happens to them. But they're very loving and kind people usually. So you find them as doctors, as nurses, as caretakers, as people who really are your friend when you need them. You call up your trustworthy kapha friend. They're always there ready to give you a big hug and help you out. In an imbalanced place, the kapha people get very sluggish. They become sloppy. They're very slow. They could care less. They don't want to be part of anything. They check out. Imagine as a kapha dosha, and of course, these are just pictures. I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but a kapha dosha will most likely do something like this, where when they're feeling sad and depressed, they close all the curtains, step into a dark room, turn on the TV, order some pizza, and eat pizza and cry and watch a movie. That's okay too, but not all the time because we want to come back into balance. So the idea is that whatever is going on, this is where we have to learn that like attracts like, and we have to do the opposite sometimes in order to break those patterns. When I get into each of the doshas, I'll describe a little bit more about exactly how each of the doshas need balancing and what they need to eat and all those things. But in this one is just general understanding of what a dosha is. So here it is. It's the five elements with its own combinations, and the combinations are vata, pitta, and kapha. All these things that matter that brings prana. Prana is your life force, your vital energy force. So it's just not the air that you breathe, but it's also your life force, how you are operating. What is your energy level? Many times we look at 16-year-olds who are behaving like they're 80-year-old. And you look at an 80-year-old and they're so full of life. They are so passionate, ready to still go and do things. So, however you are, the mental mindset, the physical mindset, the emotional mindset, all of that really matters wherever you are in the journey of your life, whether it's in the beginning stage where you're a baby, you're a child, or you're a teenager moving into your adult years to create your life, or you are a mature adult in the later part of your life. When understanding a timeline structure, when you are a baby, a child, you are in the kapha time of life. Your brain is developing, your body is developing, the bones, the muscles, everything is developing. And you have to be healthy at that time and eat the proper nutrition so that you can grow up to be a healthy adult. One of the interesting things to look at here is when we think of childhood trauma, we can remember because everything is being created at that time when you're a child. And all the memories, people have childhood traumas, or however your loving environment is, or whatever happens in that first part of life stays with you for the rest of your life. So the kapha time of life is when that dense building block is happening that's going to stay with you for the rest of your life. And then through the adolescent years, you move into the pitta time of life when the hormones start kicking in and everything in your body is changing. From that point on, you have to figure out where you're going to live, who you're going to marry, if you're going to marry, if you're going to have children, how many children you're going to have. If you have more than you decided, what are you going to do now? All the big decisions you have to make in life in order to function, have a good career, have money in the bank, have all the luxuries of what you want to experience. And if you don't, there are challenges that you have to deal with. All those things, life is happening to you in that pitta time of life. And you're a family person, you have to make decisions based on that. Then, when you hit 50s and 60s, you are now moving into your vata time of life. When women hit menopause, perimenopause already starts to happen in the late 40s. Then you're transitioning over. So this is the place where a lot of women they experience that pitta heat is now out of control because it's moving into the vata time of life. And so that vata time of life is when you're experiencing more dryness, more cracking and popping of the joints, the hair is falling, the wrinkles are coming in. There's dryness present everywhere in all the tissues of the body. So we are responsible for our youth from the very beginning, how you take care of yourself. There is a framework for every part of your life, and we want to follow that. Ayurveda has very specific ways of being, and Ayurveda has very specific ways for you to take care of yourself through food, lifestyle, and movement, breathing, meditation, all these things. And also, just so you know, that yoga and Ayurveda, they come from the same Samkhya philosophy. Ayurveda and yoga, they're sister sciences. And the way to understand how they relate to each other is Ayurveda is understanding your physical body, your mental body, emotional body, what you need to do to physically live in this world and mentally be able to accomplish the things that you want to do by keeping your emotions at bay. When you practice yoga, yoga is experiencing yourself beyond this physical body and taking you to a higher consciousness so that you can tap into who you truly are, the essence of who you are. There are four pillars that we look at, which is Artha, Dharma, Kama, Moksha. These are ways of understanding the purpose of your life. So I'll talk about that in another video because it becomes too much. But these four pillars are basically a way of living in this world. It is only your journey and how beautiful you can make this journey. So, Ayurveda is a great way of understanding your mind and body type, why you behave the way you do, why you react the way you do, and what you can do so that maybe you don't react to things and you can find more balance and peace within yourself. So, with that, I will see you in video number 3 in the series of Introduction to Ayurveda.